Ihsaan Gardee is Executive Director of the National Council of Canadian Muslims and joins me now. Good morning. Welcome to our program.
Good morning, Marcia.
What do you make of this proposed ban?
Well, I have to be honest, it feels like a little bit of deja vu. Like, we've seen this film before. It's looking at it, one has to wonder, it seems like is this really the most pressing issue before the Quebec electorate in the lead up to the Quebec election, which we know is happening in 2018? From the face of it, it seems like it's really a made-up solution to an invented problem. We don't have, a big issue right now with hordes of Muslim women in niqab, trying to work at the public service or access public services with difficulty. This hasn't been an issue before. It's quite simply unnecessary at this time, and it really, what it does is it further just stigmatizes and marginalizes and vilifies a community that has already experienced this, and we know that we've seen a rise in anti-Muslim sentiment across the country. Our organization has charted this, as has Statistics Canada. We've noted a 253% rise, according to Stats Can, between 2012 and 2015 in police-reported hate crimes targeting Canadian Muslim communities. And this is just something that it plays into that fear, and it helps to sort of create that environment of otherization, of fear of the other. And really, what it boils down to, and what it seems to boil down to, Marcia, is identity politics at its most base level. And it plays well with the electorate. I mean, you just have to look at the media coverage. How many shares has this story obtained on social media? And what politicians and campaign managers will tell you is that, the claim that this is based on state neutrality and that, this is about le vivre ensemble, those are very simple, easy slogans. They're 10-word slogans. The question comes, Marcia, what happens after those 10 words? Right? How do we actually, what are the actual implementation measures, and how is this going to be regulated and enforced? There's so many questions that politicians, you dig a little deeper, you ask them deeper questions, they're not able to answer.
What are you hearing from Muslim women? I almost wish, no offense, I'm glad you're here, but I wish you were a woman so we could have this conversation. What are they saying to you about this?
Well, we're hearing that this is, again, this is something that's unnecessary, and really it distracts from what are the bigger issues that are, facing hard-working, tax-paying Quebecers, whether it's crumbling infrastructure, the delivery of health care, education. These are so much bigger issues that need to be talked about, that government should be looking and opposition should be proposing bigger ideas about, rather than focusing on a tiny minority of Muslim women. And the claim will be that this is not about Muslim women, that, this applies to others, people, for example, like protesters, wearing masks. But, we believe that's a bit of a red herring. And, this clearly seems to be targeting one group. So, and really, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say before we run out of time, so what are you doing? What is the Muslim community doing to fight this, to make your voice heard?
I think that, the Muslim community is getting more and more organized. We've seen an increasing number of members from the Muslim community turning out during elections. During the last federal election, we saw an increase in the turnout, largely due to the efforts of grassroots community members and organizations like the Canadian Muslim Vote and the NCCM to really encourage civic engagement, to encourage people to come out to town halls, to meet with people seeking public office and ask the tough questions. Make sure that, people are answering the questions, who are seeking elected office, who are seeking these positions of incredible power and influence, and also having these discussions with media as well. How is media framing this issue? Because as we know, media both shapes, mirrors, and manufactures the public discourse around issues. So it's important that we have this discussion.
Ihsaan Gardee, Executive Director of the National Council of Canadian Muslims. Appreciate your time with us today.
Thank you, Marcia.